What's up, everybody? Shauna D Man here, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys had yourselves a great weekend. Had yourselves a great Christmas. We are here to do a quick little review of Stranger Things Volume 2 that came out on uh Christmas Day. 3 episodes. The final episode releases this upcoming, I believe it's Thursday. No, I think it's this Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, January 31st or December 31st, January 1st, one of those two. But the final one's going to be this week, and then we will basically be done for the most part of Stranger Things. Now, watched all 3 episodes of Stranger Things Volume 2. A lot of people are not liking it. I didn't like it as much either. So I'm trying to think where I want to start with this. So obviously, one of the things we learned was Vecna wasn't being kept by the military. Kali, or 8, was. So she's back in the series, which nobody seems to really like her. Now again, she only appeared back in season 2 just for that one episode. I think Sisters or something, or The Sister, I think that's the title of it. A lot of people hated that episode, and she's back here. People don't like her. Still don't like her. It's just like a waste of space. Like, why is she here? But obviously there seems to be a plan going on, because she talks to Elle. She calls her Jane, while everybody else calls her Elle and everything. But she talks to Elle about how Dr. K, who's trying to restart Brenner's program, it was taking her blood to basically give the blood to pregnant women to create more kids like them and Henry. But come to find out, the only person who has the blood that matches Henry, where this whole experiment can work, is Elle. And so Kali's like, when we go to kill our brother, which is weird. I mean, it's not as weird. It's not as weird, because technically they are. But anyway, because we're gonna basically kill. She basically is like, we're gonna kill ourselves, or we're gonna do something to where the government cannot get our buddies, and they cannot start Papa's program back up. We're just gonna not, whatever. And so it seems like Elle's on board with that. So there's a lot here. There's a lot in these 3 episodes. So one of the things we learn is the Upside Down is not really a threat as we thought it was. It is a bridge between Earth and the new dimension that Dustin dubbed the Abyss. That is where Vecna resides. That is where the Mind Flayer came from. That is where the Demogorgon, all the creatures that we have seen up to this point, come from that dimension. Now, we did see that in season 4, was one of the episodes when Elle banished Henry to that next dimension. It was there. And so their plan is to collapse the Upside Down bridge, because Vecna's trying to merge the worlds into one. So the plan is, if we destroy the bridge, Vecna, Demogorgons, Mind Flayers, all of it, they will stop trying to enter our world. So that's part of this plan there. Okay, yeah, fine. What's another issue? This is not necessarily a review. It's more of just my thoughts about the episode. I did basically the same thing with Volume 1. So one of the big things that has been going on is the whole Nancy and Jonathan thing. Well, yeah, that. But let me back up real quick. We come to find out that about almost 2 years have passed between what happened at the end of season 4 to what's going on in season 5. So about 18 months is, I believe, what the official timeline of things have passed. It's so stupid. And like, it's really, really dumb. Like, why are you doing such a drastic time frame from season 4 to season 5? 18 months, if that's the case. And it just felt like some of these characters weren't really themselves. So, like for instance, Dustin. I'll go back to Nancy and Jonathan here in a second, but Dustin, for instance. So you're like, obviously grief is everybody experiences differently, but you're gonna sit here and tell me the way he's been acting since Eddie died in season 4, he's been acting that way for the past 18 months. That just seems kind of, I don't know about all that. And now Jonathan and Nancy. You're gonna sit here and tell me they're already having a rocky situation with their relationship anyway. They didn't break up at any point between that 18 months. You could have had them broken up, maybe off screen. I'm fine with that, it being off screen, and then them going into season 5, they're broken up. But because the issue is they're in the upside down, and they're in this weird melting pot of wax or whatever you want to call it, where they're basically they're you think they're gonna die, or at least maybe one of them is gonna die. Like it's everything's melting around them, it's rising, and one of the things we got in the first volume was Jonathan got engagement rings. He was gonna propose to Nancy. Well, they go through this whole spiel of how they're different people, and they do like this whole "will you unmarry me" thing, and a lot of people didn't realize that was them breaking up. Like the Duffer Brothers had to come out and like clarify that they broke up. I was like, if you have to come out and clarify like that, then that tells me you didn't do a good job conveying that on screen, because a lot of people were just confused about it. Because here's the thing: so you're gonna sit here and tell me this whole melting thing, this whole melting pot situation that's happening here with Jonathan and Nancy. I mean, and for the lesser extent, Steve and Dustin. You're gonna sit here and tell me that is melting because of the trauma, the issues that they're having. The moment they break up, it stops. Like because after they basically break up, the melting stops. Everything's solid, and I'm just like, what? So that just seems kind of, why did you do it that way? It's just my issues with Stranger Things. It's just this. It's just this unnecessary emotional um manipulation that goes on. I guess is the best way to put it. Because at this point you're like, nobody's really gonna die. You gave you the way the Duffer Brothers talk about things, now whether fair or not, it gives people the idea that, okay, people are gonna die. You put these people in dangerous situations time and time and time again, and I'm expecting somebody to not make it out time and time and time again. But when it doesn't happen, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. I thought they pulled it. I thought they corrected that with Max. No. And one of the things I said was when I talked about season 4 was, um if they bring back, if they them bringing back Max makes sense in season 5, I'll be okay with it. I will forgive it. I you're better off killing Max, to be quite honest. You were better off killing Max, because it's just, now we're at the point where we've got one final 2 hour length episode left, where I don't think anybody's gonna die. Now I think the promo for episode for the volume 3 had already came out. I haven't seen it, but I've seen people talk about it a little bit, or like posting clips and stuff like that. So somebody's gonna die, plain and simple. Somebody is gonna die. And I know the Duffer Brothers have said that nobody has guessed the ending to the show. I call bull crap on that. I bet somebody has figured it out, but it's like in an Avengers Endgame situation where they went months where letting people try to guess the title of Avengers Endgame, and people had already correctly guessed it at the beginning, and they were like, no, no, that's not it, and everything. Because even it's said in the movie, Doctor Strange is like, we're in the end game now, and so somebody's probably guessed it right. Um, and so another big issue that I had, and a lot of people had, was this whole Will coming out scene. Everybody knows Will. At least everybody had an inkling that Will was gay since season one. This is not a new revelation. Like, I figured he was gay back in season one. I mean, all you did in season four was just basically confirm it, but it was already pretty obvious that he was gay back in season one. And they do this whole thing where it doesn't make sense. All right, so Will's basically coming. He doesn't necessarily even say it. He's just like, I don't like girls. Um, he immediately is about to tell Joyce, and then Mike comes in. Then he's like, you know what? I think you both need to hear this. And you're like, okay. So there's two thoughts that was going on with people. One, they thought, or the original thought, I guess is the best way to put it. They thought he was going to say something that could be helpful to Vecna, to stopping Vecna. They're in a crisis situation right now. Vecna has the kids. He's trying to merge the worlds together. You got the military chasing Elle and Kali. There's so much stuff going on. He must have a plan to stop Vecna, or he must have some kind of knowledge that will help stop Vecna. No, it's basically him coming out, and it's basically him being gay. So it's Joyce and then Mike. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I would have been fine if you had Jonathan, uh, Dustin, and Lucas there as well. I would have been fine with that. I would have been completely okay. I was like, okay, that's fine. You have his family and his best friends there. You have everybody there. You have you have Erica there. You have Elle. You have Collie. You have Hopper. You have Mr. Clark. You have Robin. You have Tammy. Like you have all these people here. It's just like, why you didn't need all these people. You could have just had it a very small intimate group of the closest people to Will for this whole situation. And then it comes out the Duffer Brothers, maybe Noah, whatever his last name is. They come out and say, "Oh, we took about 12 hours to do this scene." If it took you 12 hours to do this scene, that is ridiculous. That is dumb. That 12 hours could have been spent doing something else, making this season, making volume two better. This was stupid. And so it's just, and I think I've just gotten to the point where I just don't care about Will all that much. I'm so tired of the whining and the crying he does. I'm just like, I don't care about you anymore. Some of these people feel so sidelined now. It is ridiculous. Like Elle feels so sidelined now for some reason. Holly's been maybe more to focus. Um, Another thing that made me mad was both Max and Holly are about to escape. You got Lucas playing, running up that hill while he's trying to escape some dogs in the hospital. Um, and they're both Holly and Max are talking while they have their portal doors open to lead them back to their bodies. And I'm like, guys, can we can we get this going? Can we get this going? Like this just like there's so much going on and you're sitting here waiting and just talking. There's no urgency of come on people, we got to get this ball going. And so it's just like whatever. Karen comes in and saves the day. I don't know how she slipped past the Demogorgons to put a gas canister inside a laundry or a dryer and had it running without them noticing. I don't know how she was able to do that in her current state. Poor Ted hasn't been talked about at all since volume one. Um, what else was it? I was happy to see Mr. Clark finally get involved. I was so happy with that. I'm okay with that. That man has been a staple of Stranger Things franchise since season one. I am so glad. I love when he got his chance. It's like because they're basically going to do the final confrontation with Vecna, and Murray's driving the delivery truck with everybody inside, and he's just like, "Okay, do it, Snookums," and Mr. Clark's just like melon, and I'll say, I love Mr. Clark. That man, I'm so glad he was able to finally get involved with this, and so I was so happy about that. Robin just seems kind of annoying. I did like the interaction with Steve and Dustin when they were in the Upside Down. Dustin basically like he doesn't want to lose Steve. Well, it was interesting because Steve basically said to Dustin that Eddie tried to play a hero and he got killed for it. But then he tries to basically play hero and try to go rescue Nancy and Jonathan. But Dustin stops him, and as soon as Dustin stops him, because the place is still melting, mind you. So Steve's plan was to place a ladder over a broken part of the staircase so he can crawl across to get to where Nancy and Jonathan were. Well, Dustin stops him, and then the ladder falls. It collapses down, and which if Steve was on that ladder, that probably would have killed him. So while he said Eddie died trying to play hero, he almost died while trying to play hero. So it was an interesting thing. I don't mind their interaction um, in Volume 2. I feel like Joyce doesn't have much to do for some reason. It's kind of weird. Um, Trying to think what else was there. The whole at the end with the kids in Vecna's mind, were they trying to kill Holly? They literally, these kids were, except with the exception of Derek. I don't know why Derek froze like that. I mean, he threatened his parents, so I could probably understand why he would be hesitant. But, but you had one of the kids literally trying to strangle Holly, and I'm just and like they pushed her down the stairs. I was just like, what is happening here? What are we doing? And so it was wild. It was wild. Volume 2 was definitely wild. So that's just my thoughts about it. I just did not like it. And I think right now it's a very low rated uh couple of episodes for sure. So now we just wait for the final episode. It's over 2 hours, but it's like I believe they said 40 minutes of it is epilogue. So really it's like an hour and 20. So basically the same amount of time that we've been getting with these volumes. So they're gonna have to like. There's so many stories, or there's so many people to try to wrap up in this final thing. So it's gonna be interesting to see on what they do. But yeah, overall did not like it. We'll see what happens with Volume 3 when it drops later in a couple of days. But yeah, I just not like it. And then once that drops, I'll probably just do like an overall review of Stranger Things as a whole. Maybe either I'll do like the Volume 3 review and then do that. So I'm still debating on that. But guys, I will have a video out potentially January 1st, this Thursday, for a channel update for here on the Nerd Talk channel, and also one for the gaming channel. So you definitely don't want to miss that. If you're new to the channel, be sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure you comment below. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Y'all have a good one.